Chopper's music just goes, yeah!
On this episode of the Points of Interest podcast, old weird stuff from the internet, movies you've seen a bunch and are still entertained by them, and I did some social stuff this weekend. Well, hello and welcome to the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Hawks. I am the 303 Ninja. And right over there, he is my podcasting partner for life. He is the other guy. It's Mr. Francis Fernandez.
Oh man, it feels like 2019 all over again. It was just the two of us doing points of interest.
Back when we were interesting.
You
can laugh, Francis. That was your joke like 30 seconds before we started, but you know, that was before.
No, but you utilized it better.
Yeah,
you actually used it better.
Well, yay me. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's me and Francis tonight because Savannah had a tornado of dogs show up at her house, and she just didn't know what to do with them all. So she was like, "I can't come tonight. There's a multitude of dogs here."
That's the new sci-fi movie.
Dognado.
No, it's Sharknado and what was it?
Dognado.
Dognado, Hurricane of Dogs, Tornado of Dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just the two of us tonight. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. It's feeling like summer now, so getting used to that now. I got to get used to that it's summer.
Right. I like how at the beginning of every episode we pretend that we haven't been talking for a half hour plus.
Well, the thing is, a lot of the stuff we talked about, we're actually going to be talking about in the show. So it's like, I can't really talk about that now. I gotta go with the schedule, man. I can't go out of sync with the schedule.
Right.
Come on now.
No, but it is feeling like summer. Well, it hasn't here. It's been feeling like Seattle here. It's because it's just been raining. But yeah, I do hope that it warms up because it's time to get rid of the COVID-20 that I've not contracted. That's the wrong word. That I have obtained.
Yeah.
So it's time.
Well, I was going to say, like, you said you would tell us you'd walk, right? I thought you used to go on walks.
Yeah, I do. I try to as much as possible, but you know, when it's raining, no.
Oh, that's true.
You know,
that's true.
And the kayfabe. The place where I live, there is no like internal
gym or anything
type of thing, and I don't think I'd go to it anyway.
No, I saw I walked by a gym recently where every other machine was blocked off and like people were wearing masks while running, and I'm like, that looks exhausting. That just looks tiring. I don't even know how you guys did it, but they did it, you know. But no, the real question I have for you is, how does Colorado In-N-Out compare to California In-N-Out?
Funny that you ask. One, I can't believe that it's been here for 6 months, and there's still a spillover lot.
Oh yeah.
Like, to me, that's ridiculous. But it was funny because you order before you even enter the drive-through lane. They've got
the dude with the little iPad or whatever.
Yeah. And I ordered my food. Big surprise. I get the thing that everybody wants, everybody gets, and the guy goes, "All right, cool. You eating at the car?" And it was so awkward. I had a social awkward moment. I was just like, maybe. I don't know. And he's like, "What do you want? You want a box or a bag?"
Yeah,
And I was just too nervous, so I was like, a bag. So I got a bag of fries, a bag with a burger in it, which really you need it in the box because they just wrapped it in paper and threw it in a bag.
Yeah.
You know, so
you are a newbie. You are a newbie.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. But you know, it was cool. I may or may not have smoked a joint in the parking lot, spillover thing, and people may or may not have been jealous.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Did you have your vape pen, or did you?
No, I smoked a joint. I mean, allegedly.
Oh.
I mean, maybe. I mean, supposedly. I don't
Yeah,
know.
allegedly. Yeah.
Yeah. So people because the lines were kind of crisscrossing a little bit, accordion style almost, and one color's like, "Oh man, that's a great idea," and I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Why do you think I'm doing it? Yeah.
So it was cool. I did have the argument with myself. I should probably just eat it in the parking lot. Like not in the park, like drive away, but not drive too far.
Yeah.
Because I don't know because we've never done that. We've just eaten at the In-N-Out when I'm out there.
Yeah. Yep.
In the California lands. Or eat inside. Yeah. So I've never experienced traveling with In-N-Out. It does not travel.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. It definitely In-N-Out has a shelf life of like half an hour. And then if you don't,
it's less than that.
Yeah, especially when you're in movement, when you're in a building, it's a little different. Yeah, but when you're in transit, the shelf life, especially for the fries, are pretty small. The burger can last a while.
For sure.
It's a burger.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, the fries.
On how messy they prepare it, though. Of course.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's the fries, the animal fries were a bit of a disappointment just because the whole thing kind of congealed.
Yeah.
And I was too lazy to run downstairs and nuke them. So. But
if you had a toaster oven, that would have been like the best kind of move.
For sure. Toaster oven. Yeah. But I did notice a few things I thought were odd, but then I pieced it together. There were umbrellas in the drive-through lane with cup holders, but there were no seats. And I was like, why the hell is this here? Oh, for the employees. Oh. This place also had a really cool smoke shack or heroin hut. I'm not really sure what it was, but it was on site and it was for a outdoor place for employees.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I think it was a heroin hut because it was like all metal.
Oh,
but you get the gist. It was like a place to go smoke or, get high or whatever. Do heroin.
Yeah. Right.
But no, it was cool. I'm glad I went. I think if I have a craving for it next time, I better just plan to have it for brunch. Because I don't think I'm going to wait in line for it. Waiting in line in California during a Comic-Con, totally acceptable.
Yeah, our lines do not compare though.
But
because
every time I've ever been to an In-N-Out or driven past an In-N-Out, there's always a line. But it moves.
Yes.
But it moves.
Yeah.
We've never, even during Comic-Con, we've never not been able to sit down and eat.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
There was a line to get into the joint.
Yeah, you're not going to really find that here. I mean, not usually.
But funny story. I didn't know that there was a spillover lot.
Oh.
So I see the drive-through line, and I just pull into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, guys, what's up? I'm in line for In-N-Out. Sweet. And some employee walks up, and he's motions in my waiting for the drive-through. And I rolled my window down. I was like, well, yeah, I'm in the drive-through lane. And he's like,
oh, no.
No, there's a spillover lot. I was like, oh, okay. Cool. Do you want me to move? Because, I'm already here. And he looked around, and he was like, yeah. Because he wanted to let me in. Just let me stay. But he was like,
oh, yeah.
There's 30 some odd cars behind you. That would be pretty pissed. Well, I didn't know. I saw that it said drive-through, but it didn't say spillover lot and an arrow. Mm-hmm. Maybe just a heads up might help.
Right.
So yeah, I had enough time to smoke a joint, allegedly. And take my order. And again, weird thing. I thought it was weird. A dude approached my car. An employee approached my car. He had a ticket in his hand, and he said, "Did you order this?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right. Well, here's your ticket. Your order number 126." I looked at the ticket, looked at him, looked at the car in front of me, and I'm like, "Cool." He walked away, and I was just like, "I'm in a drive-through." Like,
That's weird. We don't have that.
Like,
That's weird.
Wouldn't my order just be the next one ready?
Yeah.
In a drive-through? Like, are you gonna call my name and I just get to like bash through the drive-through lane and push cars out of my way with my little hatchback?
Oh man.
Like
that was weird.
I was very, very confused by it. But I was
I would be
polite.
too.
I was polite. I was just very confused. Overall, the moral of the story is I'm eating it in the parking lot next time.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna stand in the line and find a fucking parking cement block to sit on and eat or something.
Yeah, you get a box, and then you get a placemat. Nice little paper placemat to put on your lap. Very nice. Yeah.
Well, I know for next time. Yeah. I know for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of how I finished my 3-day weekend, as we just completed.
Yeah.
For us Americans, we just did Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I have the TikToks, Francis.
I don't
TikTok,
check
sorry,
TikTok.
TikTok.
I know TikTok exists, but
not the TikTok.
Check it.
Sorry, the Snapdragon, the Snapchat.
Oh, Snapchat. Yeah, sure. Okay, that completely different.
Yeah. I'm old. So I've told you before how I just like super randomly will just get like really high in a weekend and just start adding people on Snapchat.
Okay.
I'll do like 100 people at a time. Just because
that's a lot of people.
I just want to be entertained. That's what Snapchat's there for me. Just show me fun stuff.
I'm a little amazed it still exists, but
okay. Well, as I'm finding out, it's everything's a young person thing. But on Memorial Day, I open a Snapchat and it says, yeah, it's Memorial Day, but more importantly, it's my birthday.
Whose?
It was just somebody, like just some random person. And I was just like,
okay.
I mean, sure, it's your birthday, but fuck off. Anyway, 3-day weekend. Did you do anything fun? Did you do anything?
Normally, well, what's funny is I'm after the year we've had, I'm kind of used to not doing anything. Like that's kind of my default is to not do anything but stay home and look, watch movies or watch YouTube or something. Or
YouTube and video games. Holy shit.
Video games.
I'm surprised my Xbox still works.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my PlayStation, I dusted it out recently and just like clumps of dust just flew out of its little vent holes. And I'm like, all right, yeah, no, it's old. PlayStation 5, please have stock.
Right.
I'm ready to buy you. So I think the most I did was go to the movies. That's the only thing I did this weekend.
So, especially how tentative I knew you were about going to the movies when all this kind of came back. How was that experience?
Well, I'm a little more comfortable now that I, being vaccinated and everything. I feel more comfortable, but also, it's weird because I went to AMC, which is a theater that now does not require you to wear a mask if you're fully vaccinated. But everyone was wearing a mask. I'm like, oh, I'll just wear my mask. I don't see why I have to rub anyone the wrong way if everyone else is already wearing a mask in the theater. So I just wore one. Not when I was in the movie theater itself because I was eating popcorn and stuff. But the best part of it was I'm watching A Quiet Place Part 2. And the director, John Krasinski, shows up on screen and says, hey, guys, thanks for coming to the theater to watch a movie. We know you knew this was an experience you had to see in the big screen, and I really appreciate it. Let's all come back to the movies, like because everyone's doing this campaign of like, go back to theaters. We need your money,
Right, yeah. Please come to our local downtowns. We need your transits, cash and your parking tickets and.
Exactly, and theaters are just like so many celebrities
drivers
are doing.
Have nothing to do. They're just pedaling around downtown, just bored off their asses.
What's weird is every building I pass by has a hiring sign, and apparently everyone is hiring again. So if you're looking for a job, it's there for you. But yeah, it was cool to be like, hey, welcome back to the movie theater. We missed you. Good to have you back. And so that was kind of like the big thing about it was people. I mean, the theater was fairly full too, so people are ready to go back. I looked at other movies that were going on, and a lot of theaters were full or sold out even. So it's like people are ready to resume to resume normal life, and one of them was that. And the way I really knew people were ready to resume normal life is the theater is in the same mall that the Round One entertainment center is. And after the movie, I went there, and it was elbow to. There is no 6 feet. There's no 6 feet distancing in there.
Okay.
None. Zero. Impossible.
All right.
Because everyone was there. Everyone was in there. The only thing they weren't doing was karaoke for some reason, because karaoke has like their own individual rooms. But anything that was out on the main floor was just covered in people. Like, I bumped into so many different people and had to say excuse me and be like weirded out that I actually ran into somebody, because I'm used to not running into anyone for over a year. It's like, oh my god, I bumped into someone's elbow. Oh man, that's weird.
I touched somebody's
that was
elbow.
Quite it was weird. It was really weird.
Right.
It was just, yeah. So that was my weekend.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Round One, because I too went to Round One. Only
I didn't know there was one in Colorado.
I didn't know it existed either. To me, it's in the fucking sticks. Which to me is anything on the west side of town, because
gotcha.
I didn't grow up on the west side. You get me west of the 0 line, the east-west line, and I'm like, where the fuck are we? I don't know where we are. I'm lost.
Wow.
Actually, you experienced it. You and Jason experienced it when I picked you guys up and we ended up at that fucking diner.
Oh, right. Yeah, the weird diner.
I didn't know where the fuck we were. Like, I had a general idea. I live in fucking Denver. You know what I mean? But, like, I didn't know where we were.
I mean, it wasn't a bad thing. It was, if I recall, it was a fairly good diner.
Yeah, it was a fine night. And they had an old cigarette machine in it, which was fresh.
That's right. Yeah.
But that was a weird tangent. We just went off.
So you went to Round One.
I went to Round One. And I went there for the bowling. Some peoples said, hey, let's go do some bowling. And I was like, I haven't been bowling even before the pandemic in years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys have already kind of vouched for this place as being fresh, then let's go. And they were like, we never said anything about being fresh, but okay. And hey, Guapo Grams is watching. He just Leroy Jenkins does.
Oh, nice.
I'm really considering getting that as the tramp stamp tattoo. But so
as you should.
I went to the bowling, and the bowling was fine. I'm not a big fan of synthetic lanes, but they have synthetic lanes. And I don't think they had oiled the lanes since last year. Because all right, so I kind of throw a bit of a curveball, and the curve was biting and gripping like halfway down the lane and pulling all the way to the gutter. I'm like, that's weird. I haven't had that happen ever, but okay. But it was cool that we did it like an hour and a half of bowling. with the peoples that I was with, which was cool to see people. Like you said, it was kind of half and half on the mask, even though it said on the door, wear a fucking mask. People were kind of like iffy on the mask, like half hanging off their face, not wearing one or wearing one. So after the bowling, I went over to the arcade side because I was like, I brought the hand sanitizer. I might as well utilize it, So they had a string of Street Fighter 5, Marvel vs. Cap, Darkstalkers, I think. They had a few others. And
well, it explains your tweet. I'm beginning to understand your tweet now, but go on. Sorry.
so I'm looking at these and I'm like, these I've not seen. It's been a long time since I've been in a real arcade, and I really feel that round one, despite it being a credit system and a lot of ticket games, it did have that arcade feel, old school kind of arcade feel.
Yeah.
I said, I haven't been in an arcade in a long time, but I haven't seen a Street Fighter machine with one controller on it in a long time, and mostly in pictures. But let's play some Street Fighter 5. And I sit down, and you know me, I'm going to go for Akuma. So I scroll over the cursor over to Akuma, and it says Goki. And I went, that's cool. They put in his Japanese name.
Well, the whole
And
game's
then I
Japanese.
looked at what I was playing on, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a Japanese arcade machine. Because there was a slot for yen coin. And there was a lot of Japanese writing on it. I just didn't notice it. So that was really, it was fun as hell. I did not spend an uncomfortable amount of money. I still have credits.
Well, you can't.
Credits sitting on the card that I have, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm getting this card. I'm probably not going to come back here for a long fucking time, but whatever.
Well, credits don't expire, so.
Right.
But yeah, no, I that's what I love about round one. I mean, it's a Japanese import. It is straight from Tokyo. Everything in there, I believe, is an important Japanese arcade game, except for the ticket games and some of the racing games. But everything else, like the music, like you'll notice all the music games, all the dancing games.
Yeah, they had the drumming game.
Yeah, taiko drums.
Yeah. So I didn't know. I just thought, this arcade just happened to have a bunch of Japanese Street Fighter machines. Now this makes sense. Yeah.
It's an import from Japan. It's been around for about a decade, but it's slowly making its way around the U.S. And it is known more for its claw games, because you do notice that the claw games are straight out of Japanese arcades. Those are the same exact are claw games you see in Japan. They're here. But everything is brought in, is all imported, and it's great, and I love it. And yeah, it's all in Japanese.
Yeah, I would totally go back again if it was closer.
Yeah. Did they have? I don't know if yours had it, but I'm curious if yours had the billiards and ping pong that other round ones have.
I did not. Yes, no, they had billiards because some people were playing. What was the other thing you said? Table tennis?
Ping pong.
They had table. Yeah, they had table. They had rooms for it. Like leading to the bathrooms or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's weird because the location that it's inside of a mall, and it took over one of the anchor stores that died.
Makes sense.
So
it's a huge place, right?
Yeah,
it's a gigantic place.
I was impressed. I mean, bowling alley and an arcade in the same place. You need a lot of room. Bowling machines are not small.
And they serve alcohol there.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're a drinker.
Not really a drinker. As we discussed before, it doesn't take much. My pants come off, which I did have a few drinks this weekend, and my pants did come off. And that's a POI dark.
Whole other.
That's a whole other episode. So, Francis, weird stuff.
Yes.
Weird stuff from the internet, from the old days. I was kind of thinking, like, you remember Ask a Ninja?
Yes. Yeah.
That was one of my.
You introduced me to that, actually. I didn't know it existed until you told me about
Okay.
it.
That was one of my favorites. I mean, everybody. Well, people our age are gonna remember Two Girls.
Well, yeah.
But like, even like Keyboard Cat. Guapo's not wearing pants.
That's none of us are. I mean, that's
I mean,
why
technically, yeah.
cameras.
Right.
That
We did that.
It's free balling it right now.
It's funny because we did that failed episode where you did the pants check, but like,
oh right,
the people that were actually watching it live, they were like, "Yeah, I just didn't understand. There was just some dude standing up showing us his crotch. It was really weird."
That was the right.
Well, hopefully one day that'll be a weird thing on the internet.
I hope it. I'd love for it to be a meme. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. It was just something I was thinking about recently, and just like having access to old ass commercials. Like you'd be sitting around watching, hanging out with your friends, and talking about some commercial, and someone would be like, "Oh man, I wish I could see that commercial so I can relive it with you." Well, the internet gave that to us, as long as people uploaded it.
It's amazing what people have uploaded, though. That's the funny thing.
That too.
Like the only thing I've been trying to look for there's this. Okay, so I can find Real Meta Genius or Real American Hero, the Bud Light commercials, which I love. They're hilarious.
Oh yeah, I remember the radio commercials versions more than the TV.
They're all radio. It's all audio.
There wasn't a TV version.
There were a couple. It's like a handful of ones that made it to TV, but the vast majority of them were radio.
Okay.
Which is why I was trying to look for a specific commercial that I think was only local here to LA anyway. So I'm not gonna ever find it. But it was a Yoshinoya commercial that I hated, but I want to hear it again just to know if I still have that same cartoon hate for it. Because it's a Yoshinoya commercial where it's a man and a woman, and they're talking about getting a meal, and the lady's like, "Oh, you know what? You should get some Yoshinoya," and the guy replies, "Yoshiwawa," and I wanted to punch my radio the moment he said those words, and I've hated that commercial ever since, and I cannot find it for the life of me. This Yoshinoya radio, this little radio drop, because I think it's local. So I'm never gonna find it. Local radio stations you're not gonna ever find. But I mean, like, I'm right now listening to a morning show that's off the air and is currently in episodes I'm listening to episodes from 2010.
Okay.
So a whole 11 years ago.
I mean,
and right now,
go ahead.
Go on. No, go ahead.
No, I was just I've been rewatching old episodes of Attack of the Show from like 2009.
Yeah. Oh, they talk about Attack of the Show. They talk about Olivia Munn and how she was about to leave Attack of the Show, but I guess the G4 people are like, no, she's not going anywhere. She's doing TV, but she's going to still be a regular in Attack of the Show. Okay. They even had oh my God, who's the video game reviewer guy?
Oh yeah, Adam
Sessler. Yeah. So this radio station would have Adam Sessler on, and these are two older dudes who don't play video games, and they're asking him about video games. He's like, yeah, he's getting into detail about, Call of Duty and stuff, and they're just acting all like, yeah, we know what that is, and they have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
Well, they brought up something that I thought was like really, I don't know, kind of iconic, I guess, during that time. But do you remember Winnebago Man?
Do I remember Winnebago Man?
Well,
Francis, let me tell you something about the
11
Winnebago.
Years.
Let me tell you something about the Winnebago Man.
Tell me about Winnebago Man.
Any day that I think that I'm having a bad day, that I perceive as a bad day, I go home.
Oh, God.
I get high because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I put on the Winnebago Man, the definitive Winnebago Man.
Now, is it
all
the whole
23 minutes?
Okay.
All 23 minutes of just the man having the worst fucking day on the planet by any person ever. And then I feel better about myself.
Okay, good.
I love that whole my favorite bit of the whole thing is inside the Winnebago, where the guy, he slams the door and the Winnebago man says, "I don't want any more shit from anybody, including myself."
Oh man. Yeah.
Second favorite part, when the guy off camera throws the towel at him and it hits the Winnebago man in the face.
Oh, I've never seen the visual. I've only heard the audio.
Oh my God, Francis, when we can't play that, can we?
I don't know if you can. I don't know. I mean, it's not because it's not.
They made a movie about it though.
Yeah, they did a documentary on it, but that doesn't mean they don't own the rights to Winnebago Man.
Well, yeah, I think you need to watch it.
All right,
you need to watch it when we're done, because
accoutrement.
It's just you have to see the meltdown. Hearing the audio, yes, you will definitely understand what's going on, but you have to see the actual meltdown. There's parts, Francis, where he just, have you ever seen anybody so mad that they just...
Right. Yeah.
He does that like 6 or 7 times. And audio obviously isn't going... That as I say this, I'm realizing that what I just did isn't going to work in the audio version of this.
Yeah, right. He just glitched out. If anyone wants to know.
Flailing around, yeah. But go on. Now that I went on that thing.
No. That's it's funny to kind of hear and kind of newsworthy back then, right? Like everything, like this is the only thing about politics I'm going to mention, just because it's really funny to me. But everything that people are talking about in politics the last 4 years were the exact same things they talked about 11 years ago. All the same things about of course about a different person this time,
right?
But it's all the same talking points. It's all the same things, but it's towards someone else, and it's just really funny. It's like, oh, we just go in circles. Like all this stuff that we get mad about and all this stuff that we get angry about, we're just going in circles, and it's really funny. Like they're hating on this kid. Oh, they hate that this kid just made it into got this super popular album. This weird Canadian kid called Justin Bieber, right?
Right.
They never heard of this kid before, but like, my God, this kid is annoying. What he's never, and they're like, no, he's one and done. He's never going to amount to anything. That's what they were saying on the station. Like, never going to amount to anything. I'm like, oh, if only they knew.
Right.
If only they knew.
And that's part of the appeal of watching old commercials, or watching old episodes of Attack of the Show. They do the gadget prawn, and they talk about how, I just watched one today where they were like, this is an upgrade. This is an actual surround sound system, not like that sound bar thing. The thing it's just one bar,
which is like now the norm,
right?
Everywhere is
right.
like, sound bar, yeah.
But I get a real kick out of watching old shit like that. Do you remember the Burger King?
Yeah, sure.
The paper mache king, whatever,
yes.
Whatever he was made of.
Right.
The thing that gave people nightmares. I loved it. But the Burger King is modeled after a physical human Burger King that was in commercials in the 70s that looked just like the paper mache king. Only that Burger King in the 70s was magical.
Of course. I mean, that's when every place had a real life mascot, right? Like McDonald's had 10 mascots. No, kids nowadays don't know about Grimace or Hamburglar.
The Fry Guys. The
Fry Guys, yeah. Or was it Fry Guys or Fry Guy? Was it
I think there
multiple
were
people?
plural.
Plural. Okay.
I believe it was plural. Because there
But,
was
like,
like 3 of them.
Yeah, but the kids aren't gonna know who that is.
No, fuck no.
And it saddens me. It actually saddens me a little bit because the only mascot that exists right now is the Jack in the Box guy, right? Like he still has like a thing.
Well, as we discussed, Domino's is trying real hard to get the Noid
To
back.
bring the Noid back, that's true.
Which I'm all for. Bring the Noid back. The Noid was fresh.
Pizzas.
Um,
But no, I love that nostalgia. Like I love how kind of it was a simpler time, right?
well, I mean, yes. Yes. Factoid. Yes, it was definitely a simpler time. But some of those, some things are just like slap your hand against the face. Like, how did this work on TV? How did they get this past any censor?
Yeah, like
Oh, Guapo says he just learned about Mayor McCheese today.
Mayor McCheese. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mayor McCheese. I mean, there was a whole McDonald's like town and city that had characters and everything. There was even a girl. I forget the girl's name with the.
Yeah, she was like a chicken.
She was a chicken, with pigtails. But I can't remember. I don't remember.
I don't remember what her name was.
But yeah, there was all sorts of characters and it had skits, like the commercials were skits, and there were only like 5 burgers to choose from even back in like 1990. There was only like 5 or 6 burgers to choose from, not like the dozens that are there now. And breakfast was simple. You got it. There was only the McMuffin.
Right.
That was it. Didn't have anything else. There was no fancy, whatever they had, McGriddles and stuff like that. Nothing like that.
Right.
But but that's the beauty of that's what I like. I think we do have too much choice, and I think we have too much going on. Like, so, the internet's a weird place. But there are digital mascots now for certain stuff, right? Like there's a digital female mascot for Samsung, I think.
Birdie
the early bird. That's it. There you go.
I got the chat up on screen now finally.
But there was
I'm learning how to do this, Francis.
It's one step at a time, man.
Everybody gets to learn with me on the fly.
But there's like a female mascot, female digital mascot for Samsung or something like that. And I'm just scrolling through my Twitter, and of course somebody Rule 34'd this mascot, and I'm like, oh, right. You wouldn't get that in the 90s, but it's and for those unfamiliar, Rule 34 is you make porn out of anything. If it exists, there's porn of it, and so they made a porn version of this particular character, and I'm just like, yeah. Oh yeah, you wouldn't see any of this. You had to pay $60 for a VHS to see your porn, or buy magazines or something, right? Your naked people had creases because you had to fold them out to look at naked people, right?
You had to turn the pen upside down.
Exactly. Oh my God, yeah, I remember those. Like that was porn back then, right? Like now it's just like click. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay.
I'm having a problem. Are you complaining or?
Not about porn.
Okay.
but I'm never gonna complain about porn. But like I do miss kind of the simplicity. That's kind of like why I like In-N-Out. You only have the 3 choices.
They have 3 or 4 things on their menu. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have the 3 types of burgers. Right. And yeah, you can mix it up, I guess. Whatever. Like,
sure. You could be a Flying Dutchman.
Sure. Right. But that's it. Like, but you have to know that exists, right? Otherwise, if you don't know, you go up to, if you're in Colorado and you're getting to your first In-N-Out and you go up to that menu and you're like, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, or a double, like that's it. Where's my fancy stuff with like pickles and like guacamole and all this stuff? Like, where's that? And you realize, no, that's it. Fries, you get it either, if you don't know about the secret menu, which I don't know who doesn't know about the secret menu, but like you get it, they show you just the different size of fries,
Mm-hmm.
the different size of sodas. You can get a shake.
As a matter of fact, just to kind of go back for a second, I didn't even know that there was a drink option, like size option, because we were always just there in the fountains, 10 feet over there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. There is a large.
I was like, is there a small, medium, large thing aspect of the drink? And I told him, I was like, I've only been inside a restaurant in California in the fountain thing. And he's like, oh yeah, man, we can get you extra large. I'm like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get 42. I think that's the 42 ouncer.
No,
but that's my point, right? It's simple, it's easy. You're in, you're out. I go now, like I'll go to a restaurant. I'll go to I'll go to a Burger King, sure. And they're like, well, what do you want? Do you want the rodeo this? Do you want the shabadabadad? Do you want that? Like everything. Do you want all the stuff? It's like, I don't know. You're just inundated with choices. But I'd love to know what you didn't know, though.
Yeah. What didn't you know about In-N-Out Guapo? I mean, the first time you took me there, I do believe I asked you. I'm like, how the fuck do I order this?
Without knowing, again, the secret menu, it's easier because then you just they'll tell you, do you want onions?
Right.
Then if you say yes, they give it to you raw. If you say grilled, they give it to you grilled.
Right.
It's like it's super simple stuff, and I love that. But then again, and then you're like, oh, I go to a Wendy's or something. It's like, do you want the schmicky schmacky burger, or do you want the blah, 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 fries and with the blah?
Right?
God, that's too much, man. Too much.
I keep moving this chat thing around because I don't know where I like it.
Probably above us.
What's that?
Probably above us,
right.
so that way it doesn't.
That's where I just put
doesn't get in the way of our faces, our beautiful faces.
So on the flip side of everything, though, there is the creep factor that is super high with some of these old commercials. You want to see family friendly racism? Look up an old Kool-Aid. Look up Kool-Aid Man in Japan.
Okay.
My
well, first
God.
off, Japanese. The Japanese are. Well, there was that one Chinese commercial where there's this black guy in a shirt or something, and the Asian lady just the Chinese woman looks at it and throws him into the washer, and he comes out Chinese.
Oh shit!
The thing is with Japan and China and all these East Asian countries they don't understand racism because there's only one type of person they ever encounter, and that's others of themselves, right? So they don't actually, they're not a melting pot like the United States is, right? Or the UK.
Sure.
So they make a lot of racist stuff, but they do a lot of Japan.
But it's a U.S. Kool-Aid commercial.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Kool-Aid Man goes to Japan. Holy shit.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah, please do. So yeah, just just look up some old stuff from the internet from your kid days, because it's fun. And that way the videos stay alive, somewhere. The YouTube, for a little while, actually, they used to have a thing called the YouTube Time Machine. And you can,
the time machine, yeah.
You could type in any decade, and look, that had TV that existed, and it would show you commercials from the 50s, and you can narrow it down to, electronic commercials from the 50s, and you just get things sold to housewives and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was just something. It was just kind of something fun I was thinking about. Just we mentioned it last episode. I wrote it down
about nostalgia of things that we haven't seen or things that we go back to, and stuff like that.
Yeah. But to your thing with the Winnebago Man, though, I can watch that a million times in a row.
Well, look, I look at so for instance, speaking of that old, the radio show from 10 years ago, I'll say it anyway. Sorry, anyone who's listening. But they call each other, oh, that's gay, and that's, oh, you're a fag, and all that stuff. They say things that you could not get, especially during Pride Month. I'm saying this stuff. That's terrible.
I mean, I was watching.
But I'm just saying that's what they said, back
And, I mean, even just I was watching an episode of Top Gear from like 2009, where
That's 10 years, over 10 years ago.
right, but still, when that kind of a topic came up, they were like, you know, kind of touchy.
Oh, they weren't. No,
kind of
they weren't
touchy
like
about
that
the whole
here.
thing, you know. So it's just weird how things have evolved. Hopefully, mostly for the better.
That's debatable.
That
in the
is,
sense
it's
of
arguable.
like
It's
whether things are
arguable
getting
for
better or
fucking
not.
sure. It's arguable for fucking sure. But not one that we have here because we like to have fun.
Yeah.
So Francis, I already know the answer to the question I'm about to ask you from you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you anyway.
I'm sure.
What's a movie or a TV show or series that you've seen multiple times, and I mean multiple 5+, that you still get a ton of entertainment from?
Oh, 5+. Oh. Well, that's hard, actually.
I didn't think that was going to be hard for you
answer
because
is-
I already figured I had you figured out.
Well, just the one movie.
Yeah.
Well, the one movie for sure. But I mean, I don't want to just. I don't want to live and die off of Scott Pilgrim. You know, like that's the one movie I don't want to live and die off of. Even though it is a movie I've watched, you know, again 40 times in theaters, like a dozen times on streaming or Blu-ray or something. But like, I just recently started rewatching Doctor Who,
Which
which is
era?
a show I've watched. This is probably my third or fourth reviewing of the series. Now, mind you, I'm not going to go very far because there are about 10 or 13 episodes per season, and I only like about 6 of the current 13 seasons I think that are out now. You know, like there's a bunch of them I don't really like because they're not very good.
Sure. Or it's
you know.
just too slow.
They change tone and theme, which is kind of what you were taught, because Doctor Who came out in 2005. It got rebooted in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So the sensibilities, you can see how the sensibilities evolve because it's been around for the last 15 years. And so you see it evolve and you see it change.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I understand right now, like you know, what's going on, but sometimes it goes too far to one side and it just becomes unenjoyable. But otherwise, it's a thing I've seen so many times. Like, again, this is like my fourth viewing, and I love it. Like, I saw one episode and I'm like, oh my God, this is really good. Like, it's still very, very good, and I love it.
Do you remember when we were sitting in the photo pit, when the current cast, the current Doctor Who cast came out for the first time in front of a live audience or a U.S. audience? I don't recall which. But
U.S. audience, yeah.
But prior to them coming out, they played a video stinger, if you will, a little compilation of mostly YouTubers reacting to the reveal of the new Doctor.
Right, because this Doctor was going to be the first female.
Correct. So,
yeah.
I'm not a Doctor Who fan. I watched it because my old roommate watched it. We only had one TV, so I either do that or I go play outside or something, you know? So I'm aware.
Play with your stick and ball.
Right. So I'm aware of the Doctor. I'm aware of the characters. I'm with it. It's cool. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was going somewhere with this and I just lost it.
Mm-hmm. But no, so everyone was reacting to the new Doctor. And...
Oh, yeah. So we're watching this reveal of the new Doctor, this compilation. I have no emotional ties to this series. Mm-hmm. It's just something that's on, you know, that occasionally has an attractive looking person on there. Halfway through this compilation, I'm like, why am I crying?
Right.
Like, whoever edited this together is fucking amazing, because
oh yeah,
I don't care about this show and I'm emotional right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
they're very good at that. I mean, I'm telling you. I just recently watched a movie. I streamed a movie recently called that's like apparently a classic called Cinema Paradiso. Okay, it's an Italian movie.
No shit.
About.
I said no shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's about like the love of cinema, right?
Okay.
The main character is, you see this kid grow up loving movies, and I think I cried for the last half hour of that whole movie. It was so good, and I think that's kind of the energy that this compilation did, because a lot of people were very excited, super duper excited for a doctor that they can connect with, because the doctor has been for the last 50 plus years been a guy, right, of varying ages. They're never too young, though. It's never been like some teenager or something. It's always been, or it's always been incredibly old, or like just coming out of college, and yeah. And so when they introduced a new doctor, yeah, it was a huge deal for a lot of people, and yeah, the whole, I think the whole auditorium was very into it as well, despite even not just the YouTubers who were sharing their thoughts and feelings about having a new doctor. So shows the importance of this character.
For sure. So I was gonna say Kung Pao falls into this list for me. I have easily seen Kung Pao well over 5 times, and I laugh my balls off every single time I watch that movie. It starts in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Is that a guy's stomach plug? Like, that's fucking hilarious. Like,
it's probably has the most jokes per minute, I think, than a lot of other. I mean, even like comedies I love.
Oh, sure.
I think this one has way more jokes per minute.
Speaking of jokes per minute, it's something I don't like about the new Mystery Science Theater.
I don't even bother.
So the old crew, and I'm talking Joe too, mostly Joel. They would let the movie play, and somebody would say something, and they would just make a smart ass comment, and if you weren't paying attention, you fucking missed it.
Yeah.
Right? But they would let the movie play, let it marinate,
let it breathe.
I love Matt Myra, so before anybody hates on me, but the jokes per minute, the JPMs, too high. Like, you can't even, the movie can't marinate. The movie doesn't even play. They're just like bang, 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 joke, 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 joke.
See, it's also because I think they're under the impression you've seen the movie already. And I think the reason why the other one worked better is because most people were seeing this movie for the first time. So they get to see not only how bad the movie is, but then they get those little jabs in that like, oh. But yeah, I think in the new, again, I haven't seen the new one, so I'm just assuming that these guys have seen this movie 4 or 5 times, just like you've seen Kung Pao 4 or 5 times. I'm like, I already know what's going to happen, so I'm going to set the joke up now.
Right.
It's like, don't.
Step Brothers also falls under this
I've never seen that movie. I've never seen it.
Even as someone who's not even a big Will Ferrell fan as myself, I fucking love this movie. It's fun as hell. I mean, there's definitely, they step off the gas, like 3/4 way through the movie, but then they pick up the gas, but they don't step on it, but they pick it back up. But there's jokes in that movie that just make me bust up.
Yeah, I mean,
and it has Rob Riggle in it.
Oh, jeez. Well, he's in a lot of stuff, though.
I know that, and he's funny, and he's a treasure. We must keep him.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Have you ever seen Holy Moly? Huh?
I was gonna say he has that putt show.
It is amazing. They stuck him with a real sportscaster.
Yeah.
Like,
I haven't seen it 'cause I think it's on cable, isn't it?
It's on like ABC.
Oh, see, I don't. Okay. I have it now. I guess I do. Hulu, right? I can probably watch it on Hulu.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is kind of a side thing. I'm sure glad I bought you and me that $80 TV thing for the fucking Xbox, for them to just not even support it anymore.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about that. Yeah, you were talking about that. Yeah. It's it like the feed through, the feed through to
The
to the
HDMI
Xbox,
pass through.
the pass through.
Yeah. Um, Xbox very quietly at the very beginning of May
Yeah,
just dropped it. No
yeah,
more flipping channels. No more on screen guide. You
yeah,
just have to
yeah.
know what channel everything is and just hope something fun is on. It's like, wow, we are kind of doing it back when. It's
They
like
are.
it's like being back in the old cable days, but you didn't have channel 99 or whatever your state's or city's version of the on-screen TV guide was.
No, yeah, that's right. The guide. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That sucks. Yeah, no, you told me about it. I saw that. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to watch TV through here anymore.
well, I was going to watch the Indianapolis 500. And
Not,
I did end up watching it, but I
mhm.
didn't know what channel ABC was because haven't watched local TV in forever. So I was like flipping through channels, going like, I think this is ABC.
That's
I was very disappointed with that.
Well, they're pushing you to go to the new series one,
Yeah.
probably.
Well, there's
That's
no
what they're
pass through
trying to.
on the Series X.
Oh, what the?
They
What's
just
the? No, all right.
Microsoft Xbox. I don't know. Let's just say Xbox. Xbox just decided to just drop that entire section of selling point.
Which is funny because that's what the very original selling point was when the
The
Xbox One
Xbox
came out in the
One
first place.
was billed as the cord cutter's dream.
Exactly. It was
There
your
was
one-stop shop for TV and gaming.
there was a thing that they had back in the day that was called Snap, where
Oh snap!
you can you can you'd be watching TV and then you could snap over to a game and it would do PIP.
Yeah,
Like half screen PIP, and then you can choose what screen you wanted to go full screen on.
I'm sure.
That was taken away years ago, but the last one I have on here, we are gonna go a little long here, I guess, but
Yeah,
Star
whatever.
Wars is the last one on the list for me.
Star
I've
Wars?
seen Star Wars probably
Mm.
easily 50 to 75 times, and I mean, I don't laugh through it, but I get the same endorphin rush, emotional nostalgia, whatever you want to put there.
I hope you get. I hope you still get surprised when Vader says, "No, I am your father."
No, I'm
Like,
talking
what?
about. I said I'm talking Star Wars. I didn't say Empire. I meant
Oh,
Star
original
Wars.
Star Wars. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you meant like the trilogy. Okay.
I mean, yes, but more specifically, Star Wars.
A New Hope.
Yeah, A New Hope.
I know it's not the that was an older title.
Right. I'm an older guy. Starting to admit it. Not
New
really.
Hope. Yeah,
really.
like.
Yeah. But yeah, when I got the hiccups. Big surprise. When I was a kid and sick from school or sick from school, I would always watch Star Wars. And once I discovered weed, I would watch Star Wars and try, even though I'd already seen it a grip of time at this point, I would try to think, I am a teenager or early 20s in 1977 going to see this movie for the first time. And like the only movie I've really seen before this that would be somewhat comparable as far as special effects go, 2001.
Oh God! Well, 2001. Yeah.
You know,
That's pretty.
Buck
That's pretty
Rogers.
impressive.
You know, like that, and try to get my mind get into that mindset and seeing the ship fly overhead for the first time, and just be like, holy shit! And I still get, I don't get like hair standing on the back of my neck right now, but when I watch the movie, I get chills.
I don't know, but I mean, look,
I love it.
It's probably one of the best intros of a movie, ever. So
Yeah. So that's just there's a topic that kind of popped up in my brain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I wish I had as many movies. Like you've seen a few, apparently. I think,
Well, I
like,
mean, you're notoriously not a movie watcher.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you
I'm
are,
trying
but
to.
like you haven't. Your back catalog is long because you were busy interneting in the early days of the internet.
And I watch usually stuff just once. You know, I normally just watch things one time and I don't ever watch it again. Like I recently rewatched a movie called The Losers. If you remember The Losers,
I
from like
kind of remember the title, but I couldn't tell you the movie.
early 2010. It was a bunch of it's the typical like we're CIA special ops agents who get betrayed by our country and we have to like fight back. And it has it has Chris Evans in it, you know, Mr. Captain America himself in one of his first comic book roles because it was based off a DC comic. And that was like from again like 2009 or something like that. And I rewatched this movie. I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good. I saw the Bourne Identity again for the first time since I saw it in theaters, and I was like, this is a really good movie. Like, you know, it's really suspenseful, and you know the fight scenes, even though it's a little blocky, it's not as like cut like a million different cuts like they are in feature films, but it's like. It's babyface Matt Damon like doing all this fun martial arts stuff when he was like doing, you know, doing maths with Robin Williams, you know, a couple years before. It's like this is amazing. So it's interesting to go back to a lot of these movies and kind of relive them, and be like, oh yeah, they use flip phones.
Right.
All their monitors are CRT. Like this is weird. You know, it's like oh that's pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, so I wish I watched movies more often because I the feeling I got from watching both those movies, I'm like, why don't I watch movies like this? Because this is nice. Like it's both familiar and kind of new because it's been so long. I'm like, oh yeah, this is both familiar and new. This is nice. So.
Speaking of familiar, kind of new and strange.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the order you said that in, but that's the order I said it.
Go for it.
I did social stuff besides going bowling this weekend.
What?
I went and watched an AEW pay-per-view with other wrestling fans.
I heard that it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. It was fun. Our boy, well, he might be my boy. He's your boy too. He's everybody's boy. Dirk Manning. He was out there with a preview version of Butts and Seats. That were signed by Tony, and they did a fan fest, so it was like a miniature wrestling con, and they had Source Point, shout out Source Point, and so Dirk, Drina, the editor, Drina Joe, and I believe Travis McIntyre, all went out there, and they looked to have a wonderful time. But more to the point, I went to somebody's house I'd never been to before, and watched wrestling with like-minded people, and had wings, and shared smoking devices, and we had allegedly had a smoking circle going on. I don't know if we can say that or not. Whatever.
It's in a private residence. So I don't know why.
Okay, but there's a smoking circle going on.
Okay.
And at one point, there were so many devices we were crisscrossing, which means instead of not only a rotation, but across the circle as well. And I haven't crisscrossed or even rotated, obviously over a year, but like I haven't been with that many smokers in a long time. Like that weren't my friends, like immediate friends. So it was a fun experiment. Either one. I think it's both. Yeah. I also discovered that you cannot leave chicken wings laying around, and me being there. Because
you ate all the chicken.
I ate a lot of chicken wings.
Well, first off, depending on the flavor, chicken wings are delicious.
All chicken wings are delicious regardless of the flavor.
I don't know. The hot stuff, I don't know. Like if it's the ghost pepper, whatever Carolina Reaper type ones, one is enough.
Okay, I'll give you that. But like, I contacted the person today that hosted, and I was like, "Hey, man, I want to apologize because like every 10 minutes I got up and got more wings." And I don't know if I was being rude, but nobody else was eating any, so I just figured you didn't want leftovers, so I just kept grabbing. He's like, "That's why I bought them." to be eaten. I was like, okay, good.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I was being
Yeah.
modest. I was like, let me just get 5. There was 100+ wings.
Here's the thing. If you eat the wings to the point where they have no more to give, then that's when you'd be like, I'm here to buy more wings for all y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Then you because you're the reason why they have no wings.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
So yeah.
This is why I keep you around. Give me the good ideas. But no, it was cool. Like I said, it was cool to be around people and know that everybody that was there, all of us, we were all safe, we were all vaxxed, and we can just enjoy and not have to sit there and wonder.
Well, that's what I keep seeing on like my Facebook and my Twitter. Well, not Twitter really, more Facebook. Is people being like, "Oh my God, in 2 more weeks, I don't have to think about masks anymore," because here in California, it's in June 15th, I think, it's like all restrictions are lifted. Like, oh my God, we don't have to think about it. I mean, businesses are going to do their thing,
right?
But like, people are excited to go back to normal. Like, people are super duper excited to just be like, yes, I get to just do whatever the hell I want to do. And not worry about anything.
Right.
And I see it every day. I see more and more people just kind of like, just no mask on, like walking around wherever, and just like they don't care, and it's fine, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm not going to get hurt by it. I'm vaccinated. So I'm not like stressing out.
Right.
But also, I will say though, again, as I continue to be weirded out, as I continue to be old man Francis, I get more and more like perturbed by like youth fashion. Because apparently youth fashion is now back in the 90s where your panties are showing all the time now. And just like, oh, I guess that's a thing now.
As a guy that kind of likes women's underwear, not like I don't like to wear it or anything or sniff it or nothing like that.
I know what you mean.
It's fun to look at.
Yeah, but
I don't mind.
Strange. No, it's just odd to me. It's like, oh. Because it was conservative like a year ago, where everyone was wearing the waist high pants and no one was showing off their panties and stuff. And now it's like short skirts and panty.
Hey man, people have been cooped up.
The what?
People have been cooped up.
That's true. People
they want to soil the royal oats.
I'm telling you, once restrictions are lifted, I'm telling you, people are just gonna be banging all over the place, man. That's my prediction. My prediction is, we're in a lull for babies right now. Like, oh, the birth rates are down. I'm like, give it a few weeks.
Well, apparently birth rates are down because everybody's here in Colorado.
Huh?
There's so many fucking people in Colorado that Colorado has had to add a new area code.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, so numbers in particular really aren't disappointing to me, really, or whatever the opposite of disappointing would be. Exciting.
Cool.
Like 303
cool
is fucking fresh, right?
Yeah.
Right. Our new area code 983. The fuck is that?
Here's the thing: all the area codes here in California
619
are number.
That's awesome. I don't know why it's awesome. It just flows. 619.
It's 69 with a 1 in it. What do you want?
I mean, it's 69 with yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like here, it's number like 818, 909. Like it's the same number that begins and it ends. So it's all flow. It all flows.
It's symmetrical.
Yes, that's what it is. That's exactly that's the word I'm looking for. Symmetrical, and it's symmetrical here. And I'm just like, yes, that's how as it should be. And sadly, your new area code is not symmetrical, and it is annoying.
Highly.
It's properly annoying because I understand.
Like, so the joke I used to tell at the dispensary when a kid would come in, and they would be like, "Oh, I've got a 303 number," and I would look at them and be like, "Who died, so you can have a 303 number?"
Exactly.
And they'd be like, I don't understand. Like, let me give you a history lesson. But now I'm gonna miss out on. Well, actually, I still could use it. Can I use it as an age test? I might be spitting raps.
Oh, that's true.
I might be spitting raps at somebody, right? And I'd be like, "Yo, let me get your number," and they're gonna say 918 or what did I say 983. I had to look down at my notes. 983. I'm like, can I see your ID, please?
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
I know
other than
it
they got
doesn't
a
mean
phone,
shit anymore
but,
because nobody changes their fucking phone number to the state they live in.
No. I'm always look. I DoorDash. I know.
You
You
do?
can hate on me. I do No, I don't DoorDash. I
Oh.
get DoorDash.
Oh, gotcha.
I get food delivered to me. I don't deliver food. But whenever I'll get like on occasion I'll get a text from like a 6-5 like a New York number or like a weird Tennessee number and like, well, I know I'm expecting food, so I'm gonna just assume it's them, and it usually is. But I'm like, anytime I see a number that's something that's not my known area codes, I'm just like, no, voicemail. But if I know food's coming, I'm like, oh, A, you're from another state completely. Why are you here door dashing? And B, don't bother me. Just bring me food. I don't care what the problem is.
So Guapo put up 707. And
see, 707 is great.
415. 415 is also like a police code. So like, yeah, I think it's burglary.
Oh, please tell me there's a 420 area code. What's the 420 area code?
But like 415 to me, that's in 707. That's still pleasing to my ears and mouth. We have 720 as a 303 720. No, now 983 is local. And then 917, and then the rest of the state is 970. So like, there's some symmetry there with the nines, but like, yeah, I don't know. Just if a string of numbers could be disappointing, those are.
So I found that the 420 area code does not exist anywhere, which is. It is weirdly enough, it is the country code for the Czech Republic, but it looks like there is no area code in the United States that is 420, which will be the most coveted area code should it ever become available.
For sure. The 420 mile marker here in Colorado
got 14.9. It's like 419 and a half or something like that.
No? 419.9.
0.9.
But it got stolen so many fucking times. Yeah, they replaced it.
For good reason. Look, they should never have made it. I guess it's impossible not to make it public, right?
But there's always been weed culture here, but like the 420 culture really didn't kick off until like, 2000s, 2005. Like I saw 420 a lot. You're in California.
Yeah.
So it's different.
That's true.
And you saw a lot of 420 stuff. Like I said, it's weed culture here. It's been here since I was a kid. But you never saw people stealing the fucking sign. It wasn't until later when weed really started taking over this town.
Yeah.
In good and bad ways, apparently.
Yeah.
I lived in an apartment, my very first single apartment. Where I was by myself, was in building Double D, apartment 69. Everybody in this apartment complex had a huge door number. Mine was a fucking Post-it note on the door in a little slot because the number had been stolen so many times.
Which again makes sense.
Yeah.
Look, I do wish I had hoes in every area code. It's all I want to say to Guapo over there.
I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
Although I saw Luda in a club one time, and I yelled out, I said, "Hey, Chris," and he turned and looked at me, and in my head I went, "Got you, motherfucker."
I think people know his name is Chris, though, don't they?
Nobody's gonna call him that.
Oh well, yeah, they call him Luda.
Yeah.
Luda.
So, yeah, that was my little thing. I'm looking over my notes. We hit all of the bullet points.
Which is surprising, given that it's just the two of us.
Well, we've had, 10 years of practice doing this.
That's true. We've played off each other for a long time in different shows and stuff.
And with each other. Wait, what?
Yeah.
uh, funny story, Francis. I really hope I could pull the audio from this video because I apparently didn't record till like 42 minutes ago. So
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
okay,
You
good.
can download every. You can download every video you put to Twitch.
Oh, good.
That stuff is trust me, I've done it. I've done the same thing where I'm like, let's do the show. I did when I used to when I did like the first 5 or 6 of Online Friends Simulator live. I think they're my first 10. I'm pretty sure 7 of those episodes I didn't record, and because I was just too busy trying to make sure that everything on the OBS was working properly. And then it's like, oh, thank God I can download these videos.
Well, I rediscovered a feature.
What's the feature?
I forgot because again, like you, I was trying to make sure everything was working properly, and I held the record button. Don't do that.
Oh, don't
hold the record button because it puts it into pause mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is
I remember that. I remember that once I looked over and I was like, why is it flashing in an irregular rate?
You know what they need?
What do they need?
You know that they need on air or like an actual record light, like a little red light.
So when you hit the record button, it changes from a pulsing green to a solid red.
Doesn't matter. It needs to be a separate light. It really does. I'm not joking. It really needs to be a separate
I think that'd be fresh. I wonder if I could rewire this or like make it so like or patch into it, you know, like a wire. So when I hit the record button,
there's got to be a macro that like, because once you get that little box.
I keep arguing with myself over it. I would love to get that little the Stream Deck. I would love to get it because not only would it be useful for just programming all the macro stuff for this streaming stuff, but it would also just be nice to like, I need to pull up, you know, whatever program, and I can just reach over and press a button instead of figuring out what screen my mouse is on. And
I mean, chat says it right there.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I have to argue with myself over it for a month.
Here's the thing.
I've been arguing with myself over it for fucking 3 years, but whatever.
I've been arguing with myself for the last 6 months to get a new monitor. I already have 2, right? But I want to get a 4K monitor. I want to get a nice 4K monitor for the inevitability of me getting a PS5, because PS5 is pointless on my monitors because they're regular HD.
Sure.
Which is weird to say.
First world problem.
So I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy it tonight and pick it up tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. There's very little doubt in me that I'm not going to do it. I was going to get 2, but I'm like, no, screw it. I just need the 1. And then I have a new desk that came in today.
Nice.
So this area back here is going to actually be more have stuff in it, so that when we do the show, I'll put like a thing in the background we're going to have a screen right here, so that I can put something in the background to show like, hey, you know.
Oh, nice.
Whatever. Yeah.
I was just looking the monitor that I got. The two that they're 1080, but they're 144 hertz. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The refresh rate's great, but I want something that's.
I didn't.
Blah blah blah.
180 opposed to 300 that's a step.
No. I mean, look. I don't look if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. But as I technically don't have to, I can just have regular HD.
As Guapo said, do it.
I know, and it's actually super cheap right now. It's like some of the HD or the 4K monitors I'm looking at are fairly cheap. So anyway, that's just random stuff.
Yeah.
So
hey, another random thing, Francis. You know that game I bought this whole fucking computer for? The dirt moving simulator.
Yeah. No longer compatible.
No, it is. But guess what came out on the Xbox on Friday?
Oh, the same game on I bet it's on Game Pass.
It is not on Game Pass. You actually have to buy the motherfucker. And I did because I'm a fool. But I don't understand how a company, this is a hot take, I don't understand how a company can have 3 years to work on something and it still run worse than their original product.
It runs pretty bad on the Xbox?
It runs pretty bad. It probably runs better on PS5 and Series X, to be real honest with you. So I won't completely shit on it, but it's pretty rough. The game's rough anyway,
right?
But it's pretty rough.
But
I paid for it and I'm playing it. So who's the fool?
Hey, look, I bought how many times have I bought Grand Theft Auto 5? You know, like I bought that game a million times. So I get you, man. I'm with you. Like it happens. If it's a game that you love, you're gonna buy it over and over and over again.
There's something about moving dirt, man. There's just something about moving dirt. Francis, we had fun. We haven't done an old school show in a long time.
No, it's nice. It's nice to be able to do to do a show that's like the old days. No
Guapo,
booze, no nothing.
Guapo, thank you so much for hanging out with us, interacting. Always a good time. We gotta have you back on. Now that I figured out this camera thing, we gotta have you on for sure. I don't even know if you do camera stuff, but we definitely need to do it. Thanks for hanging out. Francis, where can people find you?
Go to sinistersarcasm.net. New episode of Online Friend Simulator is up right now, and it's a doozy.
It's a what?
It's a doozy.
Oh, here's a guy that pulled out a 50s reference.
Yeah.
You can find Savannah at Master Raptors on the Twitters. She'll be back next week, I am sure. Well, I'm not sure, but she'll be back at some point.
Sharing some dino DNA.
It depends on when the Dognado ends.
Dogtopus,
Yeah. But you can follow her at Master Raptors. You can find me at 303_ninja on the Twitters, 303ninja on the Instagram. Text or voicemail 314-764-7631. Email the POI podcast at the POI podcast at gmail.com. And there's something else.
It's scrolling above you.
I know. I'm trying to make eye contact with the people, right? But yeah, Twitter, YouTube, POI podcast. Look us up. Check it out.
Yeah.
Hang out with the motorcycle that's running up my street. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time. If you made it this far, you should be smashing, tapping, pressing the like button, the follow,
the subscribe,
whatever platform you're watching this on. I got to start the music over. Hit whatever series of things you need to hit to make this appear more and help us out, and that helps you out because you get to watch us.
Oh yeah, and whatever podcatcher you're listening to, just review. Just leave a nice
Send a review. Do that.
If we'll check. Well, Josh will.
I will check.
We'll read it out.
We will. That's how we got the tagline. The most generic podcast on the internet was from a review. It just didn't go to any social platform. It was an audio review from one person to another. Yeah. I have nothing else to say, Francis. Thank you.
I wasn't sure if the music was going to end. I'm like, it sounded like it was about to end.
I know. I have 45 seconds left. Anyway, Francis, as always, thank you for joining me on this audio and now video adventure, and also my partner in crime in life. Hopefully we can do that again soon. To everybody else, thanks for joining. We'll be here next Tuesday again, 7:30ish, as always. See you later. Bye-bye. I just dropped everything.